Awesome. We have a question from Anita on Instagram. It came through Instagram. And she asked, would you recommend GABA or ashwagandha for stress relief? If so, best time to take and with or without food?
Yeah, these are great questions. So GABA is a neurotransmitter in our brain. It's a calming neurotransmitter. It's like the brakes in the brain. So we have certain neurotransmitters that are excitatory that help us think sharply and quickly. And then we have GABA, which is kind of the main brake of the brain. We have some other things like adenosine, which is what coffee blocks. And that's kind of the effect of coffee. It blocks adenosine, which is also kind of like a brake. But GABA would be considered the main brake in our brain, helps calm our thoughts. And so when people are not producing enough GABA, then oftentimes they'll have irritability, anxiety, restlessness, trouble sleeping, issues like that. And so you can certainly supplement with GABA, and we'll talk more about that. And there's also GABA agonists, meaning different herbs and compounds that help to activate. They basically activate the GABA receptor and have similar effects, right? So they more or less improve your GABA levels, right, and your GABA response in your neurons to calm you, to help you feel more at peace, more focused, right? If you've got distractive thoughts or ADHD type hyperactivity, GABA helps calm that, helps you focus throughout the day, can help you sleep at night. So ashwagandha would be one of those types of things where it's a GABA agonist. There are a lot of other ones, chamomile, a lot of the kind of sleepy time teas, the herbs that you find in those, valerian, chamomile, lemongrass, passion flower, those types of things are all GABA agonists as well. They help calm the brain, help set you up for a really, really good night's sleep. Ashwagandha is probably the most well-studied herb when it comes to calming the stress response. There's a lot of really good studies they've done with ashwagandha, and it's got these really unique compounds, these withanaloids, right? So they're withanaloids, and they're steroidal lactone terpenoids, and very unique compounds that, like I said, in there, steroidal. So they almost have like a, they help boost your DHEA. It's been shown ashwagandha can help boost DHEA, which is a precursor to producing regenerative kind of anabolic type of hormones, right? Can help support that, help bring down cortisol, help balance the stress response. And we call it an adaptogenic herb because it's more like a thermoregulator, right? So if, in your house, if you've got your thermometer set for 70 degrees and it's hot outside, it's 80 degrees outside, right? It's going to turn on the air conditioning. If it's cold outside, 40 degrees, it's going to turn on the heat. And so it's kind of like that with ashwagandha. It really helps balance and adapt your body to stress. So that's kind of the background for those two things. Dr. Ivonne, what's on your mind with this topic?
Well, this is a really good question because there's someone asking about GABA and ashwagandha, and they do have similar effects. And GABA, like you said, is a calming neurotransmitter, helps people calm down. And ashwagandha does the same thing, and it works through the same pathways. However, if we want to see both of them will, of course, help with stress. And if your goal is to adapt to stress, a better choice would be the herb, would be ashwagandha, for sure. And if your goal is to be more like if you have anxiety and you have trouble focusing, a lot of times stress does not allow us to focus and we need something to calm us down. So GABA is excellent for that. So really, you can play with both. And they both help you with stress. They both help you with sleep. They both help you relax. And like I said, you can tweak it around and see which one is best for the purpose that you wanted to help you with. And of course, the other question is, should it be with food or without food? And, I find that GABA, you can take it anytime with food or without food. And ashwagandha, it's a little bit trickier. So it just depends on the person. And again, you would want to experiment. Now, one thing that I do want to mention is that if you suffer from, say, an autoimmune condition, ashwagandha wouldn't be the thing to take. So I would go with GABA instead of ashwagandha. There's certain, herbs and botanicals in general are wonderful, but there's sometimes they're more appropriate than others. And this is one of those times where it wouldn't be appropriate if you already have a autoimmune condition.
Yeah, ashwagandha is in the nightshade family, and there's about 24% of the population that has immune reactivity to nightshade. So that would be like tomatoes, potatoes, peppers. So it's in that family. So not across the board, like not everybody with autoimmunity reacts to that. In fact, some people with autoimmunity actually do really good with ashwagandha, but they have a higher, if you just take 10 people with ashwagandha, with 10 people with autoimmune disease, there's going to be a higher likelihood that more of those 10 people are going to have a poor reaction to it than 10 people without an autoimmune condition. And that's really what Dr. B is talking about there. So you have to be careful, if you react poorly to nightshades, if you've, you eat tomatoes and it flares up your eczema, right? It, flares up your joints, things like that, then there's a much higher likelihood you're not going to do good with ashwagandha. So it'd be better to avoid that. And again, you can use other GABA agonists like chamomile, things like that can help support you. And there's other adaptogens. Reishi mushroom oftentimes can be a really, really good one that some people with autoimmunity do great with. So that's a good one to look at. But in general, the nice thing about ashwagandha compared to GABA, and again, like Dr. B said, GABA is great. And I know a lot of people that they swear by GABA, right? My wife likes to take it at night. She feels like it helps her sleep better. It's great, right? So that's kind of the goal there. If you're feeling like you've got a lot of anxiety, racing thoughts, oftentimes GABA acts quickly in your system. Mm-hmm. You can take it with or without food. So it acts very quickly in your system to help calm you down. The nice thing about the herbs is they have more than just kind of a calming effect. So they also are antioxidants. They're also immune modulators, so they can help balance the immune system. They also are anti-inflammatories, so they can help reduce inflammation in the body. I know a lot of people with thyroid issues do really well with ashwagandha, for example. A lot of people, there's research out there showing ashwagandha helping improve T4 to T3 conversion and reduce inflammation around the thyroid. So and again, not across the board, because there's some people that are going to respond poorly to it because it's a nightshade. But overall, it has a lot of systemic effects, whereas GABA is going to have more localized effects in the brain, just calming down the brain. And so, you're looking at kind of both of those things and just playing around to see which of those is going to benefit you at, a specific time. Some people don't notice any response to GABA. And one of the reasons for that is GABA is a large molecule. And if you have a very strong and intact blood-brain barrier, taking supplemental GABA shouldn't actually get across that blood-brain barrier. However, if you are dealing with anxiety, with hyperactivity, things like that, you probably have, some permeability, just greater permeability in that blood-brain barrier. And then therefore the GABA is going to cross and you're going to have the effect. So again, some people don't notice much change with GABA. They don't notice much change with ashwagandha. So you kind of have to experiment and see what you feel best with and the proper dosage, right? We always recommend starting small and then working up, because if you start small and you have a poor reaction, it's going to be much more milder than if you started with a large dose and you had a poor reaction. So always good things to experiment with. And, that's really part of mastering your own health.
Yeah. And one last thought, and I'm glad you talked about the dosage. The other advantage of if you need for stress relief, ashwagandha, you can take it for a period of time, maybe twice a day, 500 milligrams to help you cope. If you're going through a really stressful situation or you just went through a really stressful event that is going to take a little longer to, clear, ashwagandha is a really good way of helping you deal with that stress